All right, welcome back to Tanares Adventures and Arena the Contest here. I have like this light from my window that's coming in just at that perfect angle that's like blasting me right in the eyes. So I'm gonna just try to move around it as we're going. All right, well, thanks for joining everyone who came here, and for anyone that's missed it, no problem. I hope to be able to help answer your guys' questions as as you guys have time to watch this and be able to put it in there and check it out as we get there. So anyway, let's kick off where we're gonna go. So obviously the biggest news, of course, is next week. June 30th is the final day of the Tanares RPG Pledge Manager. So this is the last opportunity to get especially the board game content. If you miss this time, this is going to be it. There's probably, other than like aftermarket, I mean, we'll get into it more, but basically this is going to be the last time to try to get it. Otherwise, some of this stuff's going to be really, really hard to get later on. All right, so let's go to the first thing that I got for you guys here, which is I have some pictures here. All right, so here is a render picture here, I believe, of the Tanares Madness box. So there's the Madness box. You can kind of see in this picture. It's a little hard to see, but that's the auger imprinted on the emblem, and then of course you have the Tanares up there. And then this is the same thing. It's actually a little easier because you have the miniatures in here, and so you can see it a little bit better now without them in there. So that's what it looks like. The original one had very similar kind of thing from Arena of the Contest, but you'll see each of these boxes have different imprints, which is pretty awesome. All right, so the Madness box here will have, obviously the auger, the like undead knight guy here. I think this is the what is his name? Basically, he's the guy that's on the God, it's been such a long time since I've even looked at the box now. But the original Kickstarter goal stretch box from the first campaign, that's him there. Of course, we have the Titan character here. The Arachna Queen, the Lich right here, he is a smaller model. And then the Chimera is over here, which definitely looks like he's probably one of the biggest models, or at least takes up the most space in the box. Hey, Jason, thanks for joining. Yeah, just feel free to pop in questions, comments, whatever. Just be kind of a back and forth session. I do have, a few things that we'll go over, but it's not going to be a lot. All right, next up here is the Tanares Adventures box. So we're kind of going from top down is how I've put this here. All these colors around, of course, are the different size cards and hero pads. So there'll be hero pad storage right here. This is the top tray, right? So a lot of the heroes and some of the villains are here. You have the commanders up at the top. We'll see it better here in the next picture. And then a bunch of, probably, I bet, the hero cards in the next one. Where is the second one? I thought there was a second one that had the heroes right under that. Oh, that one's on Discord, actually. So you can see a better picture of this top tray on Discord. I posted it just this week, so if you go back, you should be able to find it pretty quickly. All right, the second tray here, definitely a lot more of the bad guy miniatures. We got the this demon character, which was a later add-on, the Cthulhu guy, these elemental ones, this gargoyle, the harpies. It's been a while even since I looked at some. See, there's some of these smaller, like fat zombie guys. I'm not sure what that one is. I forget what that one is. This is some of the more of the dwarfs. There's the halfling riders. I think this is one of the dark elf sorcerer characters. Then we have right here, this one is the lady, who is kind of like, you save them in the campaign. They don't really do like a lot other than, you know, there are different characters you have to save in different quests. And we have the farmer here. I think this is like a berserker type character. Then we have these basilisks up here. It's a little hard to tell on what that one is. Forgetting right now. I just had Clayton send these to me probably about an hour or two ago, and I've been working all day, so I didn't even really get a lot of time to go over really what all the different models were. But then we have goblins here, and then this last one. This one also is kind of hard to tell. Looks like some kind of monster maybe. Okay, so that is the second tray, and so you'll see we have these cards here, and I think this might actually be backwards. I think these might be the green cards here, the hero pad cards. Actually, these might be villain cards now that I think about it, and then tokens, and then over here is probably more hero pad type cards and more tokens. All right, then we go to the third tray, or the bottom tray. Here we have, let's see, the dark green cardboard 6x6. I believe this might be a certain item I can't really talk about, but it is related to bosses. A lot more cards. And, you know, of course, you know, when I get all this, I'll do unboxing, and then we'll talk about how, you know, how you should store all of this, you know, in the future in the best way. In fact, just this week we were discussing essentially how you could make the most condensed version of, like, if you were going to take the game with you, you know, to like a friend's house or something, what's the minimum amount you could do. And so we'll probably do that in a series of different videos of going through, like, if you're wanting to, you know, do PvP or a campaign and what that would look like. So is the box height consistent with the other boxes? Yes. Yeah, that's what I've been told, at least relatively pretty close. I mean, as I think you guys probably know, like, the Dragon Collection box was a little bit higher. So like the Madness box could be similar type situation, but Tanares Adventures, Penumbral box, Legendary box, and Arena of the Contest, I believe, are designed to kind of all be like interchangeable if you need to. Yeah, exactly. So that should be able to do that. All right, move to the next picture. We have a larger cardboard space there, and more cards, and pretty much that's it. So a lot of these I think will be storage spots, and then of course you have, which I didn't mention earlier, is this large ogre character here, who was part of the campaign, if you guys saw that. And anyway, so this is just at least a quick look of what the trays will look like, and the storage, and, you know, maybe how it'll be at least packaged, not necessarily once you pack it away, but once you receive it. Okay, so let's look next at the Penumbral box. The Penumbral box here, we got the Penumbral dragon here inlay. Just like I said earlier, they all have different covers. The Tanares Adventures one also has a different color cover, but that certain screenshot, the screenshots that I just showed you, did not have that tray, but it does have it. Is what I've seen before, so I expect that to continue. All right, taking the cover off here, we have a lot of these heroes here, as you guys know. Remember all the colors. Probably won't be quite as vibrant as these render pictures do. This is just, mostly for getting the idea that the tray is not necessarily what all the miniatures exactly look like, but just making sure that the forms fit. Yeah, definitely. Will the trays accommodate sleeve cards? Yes. Yes, that is the design of all the boxes, is that they will fit with the sleeves, especially. So at least, let me, I guess, preface this. It's designed at least for the size of the sleeves that Dragori has offered, right? Because, many manufacturers can make many different thickness of sleeves. So I don't want to necessarily say, like, it'll fit, some really chonky boy sleeves that maybe you guys find out there and say, yeah, it'll fit, and then it doesn't really fit. So it's at least designed that'll fit all the ones that come, the sleeves that come with the what Dragori's offered. Okay. So, yep, we got the healers down here, some of the shooter characters, which maybe you guys probably recognize some of these more. I think this is Jess right here. This is one of the RPG characters, the female, I believe, Elementalist. We have the Redeemer over here. This is the male version of the Elementalist. We have the female Dragon Blade down here in the corner. She's a tank. And she actually does play an important part in the story for Tanares Adventures. Then there is Ravel here, of course, Tactician. This is the male Madwalker, so the other version from Ravel. And then this one here, I believe, is I think it's Gaknak, the Dragon Blade as well. We got our Curus over here. Here is Mbolo from the RPG. He's an NPC character, or he's a character in the RPG. Some of these ones, not remembering off the top of my head of some of these ones. That one looks really cool. I don't remember this one at all. This one with the snake. That looks pretty freaking awesome though. Then we have the Scorpion people. If you guys remember the name, make sure to point it out, because it's been a while since I've looked at the RPG stuff, because they've been so focused on the board game. And there's some really other cool models in here. I guess I haven't probably gotten even to see all these ones. Like these ones over here, I don't believe I've even seen yet. This one here, yeah, man. I have to spend some more time with the guys that are doing the modeling, because I don't recognize all these. This one's Gazzini for sure, right here. And I think that might be Cordal. All right, let's see. Go to a question. If you go all in for the RPG and board game, does it come with stretch goals for Arena, Tanares Adventures, and Tanares RPG campaigns? So if you go in for all for the RPG and board game, so yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about. Let me just clarify, we're on the same page. You're talking about this all in here. So this all in includes the Madness box, and the Madness box is basically the stretch goal box, sort of. I mean, Tanares Adventures includes a lot of the stuff too. But between Tanares Adventures and the Madness box, that is a lot of the stretch goals right there. But it does not include the Legendary box. So the Legendary box is not in there, and the Legendary box is primarily, not primarily, but at least partially a lot of the stretch goals from the first campaign Arena of the Contest. So if you don't get that, you won't have, I guess, everything. Let's see, Legendary box, extra boards, and sleeves, are not part of the all in. Yeah, so there is an all in Pledge Manager add-on in the extras tab. And if you select that, that's basically everything. It includes those items that were just referenced. Okay, so let's jump back to these pictures. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so we looked at a lot of the miniatures. We'll see the Penumbral Dragon a little clearer down here. One thing I wanted to talk about, so a lot of these guys up at the top here are part of the villain pack, right? So we're kind of, I'm trying to get you guys to imagine what we're looking at, because what I'm about to tell you is important for people to realize is, you know, this box is designed to hold everything that was offered for the RPG, which means if you did not get all of the packs, but you included something, like you included at least like the Penumbral box in part of your order, you'll get the box, and the box will be loaded with, I believe those mostly pretty much full, except for anything that's missing. So pretty much the most common thing, and I mentioned this in that update I did a couple weeks ago about the mystical pack. So right here we have Haran. Here is the Emperor right here. And let me clarify. This is the new Haran, and this is the new Emperor and his new Tiger. And then these are the three, I think these are the three other miniatures that go with them. So we have Sarah, Zalir, and Harin. I forget what his name is right now. But anyway, so these ones here, if you don't get the mystical pack, this will be an empty spot in your box. So it is different. There's different versions of the Penumbral box. So if you don't get everything, it won't have everything. If you get, let's say you decided to get the classes pack, and maybe like one other pack, but you didn't get the Penumbral box, you will get like a storage box that will have the picture of, you know, those, you know, like from the campaign, but it'll be like a, you know, it'll be a tray that'll hold them, but it won't be, you know, like a super high quality one that you would want to probably store for, I mean, you can, but you wouldn't want to store for, you know, a really long time, right? That's the design of this is for, you know, mostly for you to try to get, you know, everything and then put them all in here. But if you don't, then it's fine too. You'll still, you know, have spots that you could use for other miniatures or anything else. But I just wanted to make it very clear because there was a lot of people that were upset last time when they received, you know, the legendary box and it had spaces in there. And unfortunately, there's not a way around it. It's either we provide extra spaces for the people to store all of their stuff in as few as box possible, or we don't provide the spaces and then everyone has to store a lot more boxes. So there's really like no win-win with this. So I hope nobody gets angry about it, but that's you know, really what it comes down to. Let me check here. Yeah, I saw that I was going to get the legendary box and all the extra stuff for $254, but wanted to know if all the stretch goal stuff is already incorporated into the boxes. I want it all. Yep. So yeah, the legendary box, the madness box, Tanares Adventures, and then this Penumbral box basically is like all the other stretch goals. Those are the main boxes for all the stretch goal stuff. And technically, I mean, if you want to get technical, there is technically stretch goals in the arena core box too. For example, and this is one that people often get confused and forget about, is that the soldier that's offered in arena, the contest box, was technically a stretch goal item. So they offer, I think originally it was just going to be like sentinels and snipers and that's it. And then they added soldiers in there as well. Okay, so let's go to the next picture. All right, some boss pads here, poker cards to go with them. And then you'll see here's the Penumbral monsters. Don't make me guess which one's which because I definitely will forget. Maybe you guys remember it better. And then more cards under there. The gold-sized ones. And then the last one is the mini cards there. And then, of course, we have the Penumbral Dragon there taking up that big spot at the end. And here's just kind of an alternate shot. So it holds quite a few cards there in the bottom. So, you know, it's got a lot to hold. Okay. Yeah, no problem. Anyway, so next thing is just another reminder. This is going to be the last opportunity to get the board game rewards. Once this Pledge Manager closes out, I know, you know, a lot of people know that the Pledge Manager will reopen again later, but that's primarily intended to allow people to either purchase additional RPG items or more so to really just pay for their shipping and taxes or their VAT later on once we get closer. But one thing I haven't mentioned before, but I was going to say, but I didn't want to have everyone know because it's a risky thing. So what it is technically, yes, we're closing all the board game stuff. When the Pledge Manager reopens, there will be a certain stock of additional board game boxes from all the different, you know, products, but it's in very limited quantity. So if any of you guys remember when the Tanares Adventures campaign, Pledge Manager ran, we had a same stock of like the Heroes and Dungeons, and that was basically Jagori trying to clear out that stock. So they're doing kind of something similar where they're going to have a few extra for people that miss, but it's going to be very limited. This is the reason why I keep telling people just try to get it done if you can now, because you don't want to rely on the fact like, oh, I'll just get it later than when I have more money, and then, you know, you come and it's already gone and there's no way to get it. So anyway, it will technically be available for other board game stuff in limited quantities. So that's it. That's the special thing there with that. Next up is customer service. So I know a lot of you guys, I personally have been getting a lot of emails myself of customer service taking a long time. You know, like anything, right? We're getting here at the end. It's getting extremely busy. And they are, you know, getting backed up, of course. So, you know, we have a very small team. So the customer service team doesn't just do customer service. They also do marketing, and they also help with the manufacturing production. So they have a lot that they have to balance. And so that's part of the reason why, you know, we can't just, you know, instantly get everything answered as quickly as we want, but everyone will still get their issue resolved. So if you put in something, you know, in there, you're trying to finish out your order, it'll still get resolved. And of course, you know, if you have questions for me, you can either pop it in Discord or, you know, you can message my Dragori email now at james@dragorigames.com, and I can help answer questions. But I do not have access to the Pledge Manager. So if it's a Pledge Manager specific thing, like you need something removed from your order or something, I can't help. You're just going to have to wait for customer service to get back to you. Okay, but they are catching up, and I'm sure they're going to be working a lot of late nights next week to get it all finished out, guys. So don't worry. We'll make sure to get to everybody. All right, Q&A. Any other questions you guys have? I'll just kind of leave it open because I know you've been asking as we're going here. We'll look at the next thing, which is, of course, just the landing page here for Tanares RPG. I'm assuming all of you have either already seen this or haven't seen this because you were part of the Kickstarter and just got like the link in. But, you know, you have all the pledge items, which we talked about here. Just quickly going over it. You can get digital RPG books. You can get the hard book. You can get all the digital. So this is like a one book. This is all the books. The essential kit. One thing I wanted to mention about the Essential Kit. This is an extremely rare group, and personally, I don't know if it even exists, but if there is somebody that ordered just the Essential Kit and not any other board game related stuff, and remember, the Essential Kit, I can't see it, but it actually lists it right here, has the classes pack in it. So if you got just the Essential Kit and that's it, and you were really wanting to get that in like the board game wave, you're going to be the only group that will not actually receive this, unfortunately, because basically this is such a rare group. If you're getting the Essential Kit and not any of the other board game stuff, you're really probably mostly caring about the RPG and not really about the board game miniatures. I mean, you could be, if you know, we may be able to do something if you are for some reason part of that really rare group, but that was kind of the decision with that. So anyway, I just wanted to make sure at least people knew it's super rare group. I don't think it should really impact anybody. All right, miniatures and cards, which is probably one many of you guys are already here for. That is the board game, basically, pledge for the RPG. So if you already have gotten everything else from Tanares Adventures, Arena of the Contest, and you just want just the board game items, you want the miniatures and cards, and then, of course, if you weren't part of the first 24 hours, then you would add on the Golden Dragon and the Mystical Pack is the other one. If you're a returning backer and you get this pledge, though, you'll get that for free. We're going to talk about that in a second. Super Kit, basically the miniatures and cards plus the Essential Kit together. Then the all-in RPG without miniatures. Basically, this is all the add-on RPG items, so dice and the power deck and the maps and the GM list solo mode and the Essential Kit. All the just the RPG stuff, that's this pledge. Board game bundle, that's giving you the basic board game stuff. So Arena of the Contest, Tanares Adventures, Madness Box, and the Dragon Collection. I think if you're getting this item, you probably really want to get the Legendary Box. As I've said numerous times before, and including my video, which we'll also talk about real quick, is the Legendary Box is probably the third most important box in my opinion, after Arena of the Contest and Tanares Adventures. Okay, RPG all-in plus Super Kit minis. This is probably the vast majority of people that want to get pretty much all of the, or who've been backers before but want to get all the RPG stuff and all the board game stuff. That's pretty much those group of people here. I'm part of that group. And then the all-in plus all miniatures. This is kind of like the people who are just discovering everything, want to get into the RPG and want to get into the board game. That's you. And of course, you can add on these pledges individually within the Pledge Manager. Let's see, question real quick. Question on art book. How different is the new one compared to the old one? And is it going to have lore, or is it primarily moved to the RPG books while the art is just art? You are very correct there, Jay Raynor. So the new art book, the Emperor's the Emperor's art book, is just pictures. I mean, there might be like titles, but it's not going to be like the previous art and lore book. This is purely an art book this time. If you want to see the old art book, we actually have it in the Discord. It is free for anybody to download. It is in the Tanares Tales channel. It's pinned to the channel, so you go to that channel, click the pins, and then you'll see that down the list there. And you can look at that. That's the second edition of it. And that one has a lot of that lore. In fact, that's really a lot of the inspiration that will be coming in a lore video that I am working on. And I hope to have a pretty high production on it, but we'll see. I hope it comes out really good. It's been a lot of work, and Max has been helping me edit that. So yeah, so unfortunately it's just art, and pretty much lore wise it's either yeah, pretty much in the RPG books or that art and lore book that you can download from Discord. Okay, next thing, so I was just going to mention real quickly, I have the Tanares RPG Pledge Manager guide video. If for some reason you haven't, I assume probably just about all of you guys that are watching right now have probably seen my channel before. But in case you haven't, of course, I have this video. It's got tons of great links here to all the different sections. If you want to learn about the villain pack, I go in and just talk about the villain pack and what's offered in that pack there. And then I have recommendations by the end. But basically, this is like a complete guide, should be able to help. It's not intended to sit from, you can, if you know absolutely nothing, you can start from the beginning and watch the whole thing. It is an hour, but it's actually designed for people to jump around to the sections that they care about. So keep that in mind. Yep, talked about that. All right, let's look at the final. Basically, after you have completed your Pledge Manager, you've finished it, you've pressed the confirm button, you should pop up this. This is what you can get in CrowdOx. If you ever log into CrowdOx, go through the backer portal, and then go down to Tanares RPG. You can click View Confirmation. This is basically like your digital receipt. So whenever you want to go back and see what things you have purchased, it'll be in there. And important to note is it also technically covers your Tanares Adventures items as well. Let's see, quick question first. Do you know when the board game part will ship? Yeah, so the board game wave, what I've personally been calling it, or was called Wave 2 at one point. I feel like it's kind of confusing to say that now, so I just call it Board Game Wave because that's all that's shipping for it, pretty much. Board game related stuff is going to ship estimated in September. Of course, that can always change depending on if manufacturing's delayed, if shipping. Basically, the plan, like many of you probably have seen from the last Kickstarter update, if you go in there, we say that pretty much we're like handing off a lot of the packages in August to the shipping company. That's kind of an all-in shipping company that we're working with, and they're going to take it and get it set out to the different hubs. And so pretty much it'll probably start shipping in September, hopefully, right? Hopefully, as many of you board game people out there probably already know, that the world's kind of hasn't improved as much as we were hoping so. So we hope it goes in September, but it's really hard to say now. But we will let you know once we get there. And Kickstarter updates, by the way, will come back once pretty much the manufacturing has ended. So probably in August is my guess. All right. Does it not use game trays anymore? To clarify, are the inserts from game trays? That's a good question. I don't think they're from game trays anymore. I think they were doing that at one point long ago, but I'm not positive about that. I'd have to check on that. Okay, so let's look at what your rewards will look like. So the top section here all talks about what it is you got. Like I mentioned earlier, I got that all-in returning stuff. So I got RPG stuff. I got all the packs. I did get painted Penumbral pack. That was like an add-on item to get it painted. So it changes your entire Penumbral pack to saying now painted. Just for clarity, because I know many people got confused about that. Of course, all the RPG add-on items, the art collection book, and then, of course, got the painted Penumbral Trask. And then external purchases. So this is for people that were part of the Tanares Adventures campaign. You'll see these come up. Don't be kind of thrown off. It's just trying to like combine it all for you. Arena Core Box. It's actually funny. Oh, I know why. Arena Core Box is on mine because I did that giveaway last year, so that's why Core Box is on there. And then all the other stuff I got there. So the legendary storage upgrade, plastic tokens. You know, some of these, of course, I've already received, right? Like Hero Pack 1 and 2. Medusa's coming in the Tanares Adventures box. It won't be a separate box. She was, by the way, she was the, I think 1 or 2 day incentive basically for backing Tanares Adventures. So that's Medusa. And then, yep, here's the cosmetics at Tanares Adventures, getting the Painted Madness box, the Painted Dragon Collection, that's what I've already gotten. You can watch my video where I unbox the Painted Dragon Collection. 1,000 sleeves. So the sleeves we've already received is only part of that. We're going to receive even more sleeves for just all the Tanares adventure stuff. And then board game pack 2 and Green Dragon, which we already gotten. Okay, so these manually added items here, Mystical Pack. That's because I was a returning backer and I had a pledge equal to or higher than the miniatures and cards pledge. This should be on here if you're in that group. If you haven't, then make sure to message Dragori. It's super important. Don't miss out on this, especially if you're supposed to get this free, because you're going to be super upset if you didn't. And honestly, I kind of get the feeling that most of the people here that are watching are probably not going to be those people. It's going to be the people that aren't watching this video right now that are just waiting for it all to show up that'll be surprised and probably upset that they missed it. And then the Gold Dragon here, and then I got the upgrade to Painted Gold Dragon. Gold Dragon was free for the first 24 hours of RPG campaign. Okay, and then I added on the Tanares RPG sleeve pack. This was something that confused a lot of people, but basically what it is all the new cards that were coming in the RPG, right? So there's it's like half the cards are for the new like heroes and villains and stuff that have cards, but then the other half is for things like the power deck. And stuff like that. So those, basically, you're going to get this, but if you just have the board game stuff, you're going to have extra, essentially, because it gets to like a certain volume, right, where Dragori only gets a certain price if you have a certain number of sleeves. So eventually it doesn't become cheap enough for them to even offer anymore. So this is designed for people that are getting all the things in the RPG, and you can get it all sleeved. All right, looks like a couple more questions. Will it be prepackaged in China like the last wave? No, I don't believe so. In fact, I'm pretty sure we're going back to the traditional way, which is boxes get all packaged up in big cardboard boxes, put on pallets. They wrap the pallets. They put all the pallets in the container ship, in the containers. Put the containers on the ship. They go across. They unload, and then they get taken apart, packed into each person's pledge, and then sent out. That's what I've understood as what they are going to do. If I find out something else, I'll let you guys know. Okay, any rough idea on when the RPG wave will ship? Yeah, that's the toughest one right now to say. So probably what some of you guys know is I did write most of the last update, and basically that RPG item in there of it coming in like Q1 of 2023 is pretty much just based on the fact that the team has been solely focused on finishing the board game, at all costs right now. So unfortunately, we haven't really made a lot of progress in terms of, new development on the RPG. So that's why it's sitting out that far, but that could change. I mean, we maybe will make up some pretty good ground once we get back on it in August. But I think that's basically where Alex was feeling comfortable letting people know that it would be Q1 of 2023. And actually, let me qualify that one thing too. So remember, if you got a physical version, it automatically comes with the digital for free. So when we send the printing of the RPG books, we're going to send out those digital files to everyone that has purchased it. So you will receive those early, and for you to review digitally, obviously, but the books will come a little bit later, of course, with all the other items. So technically, maybe like if you wanted to do it digitally, you may be able to play early part of the 2023 or late 2022, but it's really hard to say until we know where we are with development. All right, just joined. If you have all the board game content, how efficient is final packaging? Does everything condense into 2 boxes with the exception of the Dragon of Penumbral? I wish. Unfortunately, there's quite a few boxes, and some of them you just can't condense. Like that Dragon Collection box is a very big box. The Madness box is looking very much the similar way, where they're very tall boxes, and there's no, the insert that holds the miniatures is like a massive insert. So there's no way to like stack it unless you just remove the miniatures. I mean, you could do that, just remove the miniatures, and then you could probably store the cards maybe in like some of the other boxes. But otherwise, you're probably that's the biggest thing I talked to Michael about when I was in Brazil, was that even like best case scenario is still talking about like with official Dragori custom inserts, you're still looking at probably like 4 boxes, which sucks. And I know plenty of guys in Discord have been talking about custom inserts. In fact, I think Wanton was talking about making some inserts and posting things about that. So there may be like custom solutions, but from official, still probably talk about like 3 to 4 if you're talking about like pretty much everything, right? Okay. I believe 6 boxes, ATC Legendary. Yep. And the new terrain one. Yeah, there's that. Yeah, the miniatures box here, which I haven't shown any pictures of that. I haven't seen it yet. The scenario pack, that's quite a bit of miniatures, so I suspect that one would be really hard to condense down to unless you just like completely took it out. But we'll kind of see there. I thought Madness, ATC, Madness, all fit the Legendary and Penumbral. No, you would not be able to put Arena. No, you definitely wouldn't be able to fit all that in there. The extra game boards, are they just to use in custom PvP, or they can be used in the game? Are the extra boards different from the boards that already come in the box? Sorry, I can't find anything really explains the boards. So the boards, they're not just for PvP. In fact, I think I responded to somebody else with a very similar question to this today on the, especially the map pack 1. It has like the Lava Citadel map, which is the first map of Arena the Contest. It's already pre-built, so pretty much you don't even technically, you can put the walls up if you want, but you don't need to. But you could basically get that out, put your miniatures on the board and tokens, and you're ready to go with that really quickly. The other ones, there's some other PvP ones. There's like a blank one. What else is there? There's the boss versus boss one in the second map pack. Then there's another PvP map. Then there's, I feel, in my opinion, I just like kind of gut reaction, because I haven't actually, we haven't seen gotten the map pack 2, but what I've seen of like the pictures is I feel like map pack 1 is probably like the best in terms of like getting you going if you don't care just about PvP. But really, I said in there that it's to help you kind of set up a little bit convenience of that, but then at the same time, it also you could use it to like set up multiple games at the same time. So like if you're maybe gonna run like a small tournament, maybe that's a cool way to do it. But I'd say the game boards are not a super big, super awesome item there. So if you're really looking to try to save some money, that might be a good one to skip if you need to. Okay. Any idea on how storage would work for the map packs? Yeah, that's the thing that sucks the most, honestly. So unfortunately, I just store my my maps right just above the boxes because the maps don't actually fit inside of the boxes. You just have to store them nearby. So that part kind of sucks. But yeah, I'm not really sure if there's really anything to do with that because that would. Like they're just as thick as the game board that comes, in Arena the Contest. So they're not thin in any way. They're thick boards. So they would take up a lot of room if you had to store it. So if you're gonna make like a custom insert set, maybe it's a good idea to, instead of tossing one of those boxes, maybe you, like if you can condense some of them down with the custom one and keep one of those boxes and then use that for storage. I don't know. I'm just kind of, throwing ideas out there. I'm sure you guys probably have fantastic ideas out there that could be a good idea too. So as a brand new player to this world, what is the recommended order of playing everything as a solo player? So let me quick preface, Claude, do you mean from a like canon story perspective? Is that what you mean? Great question. I'm actually really glad that somebody asked this question too, because this is a subject I've honestly, I really want to just put out a video on, but I haven't done it yet. But anyway, while he's responding, so as probably you guys know, or maybe you don't know, there is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stories, I think. So there is Arena of the Contest, right? Which has its own story, and that pretty much is the start of what we know, right, as the main storyline. If you read the art book and the video that I'm actually working on, which I hope will be kick-ass, will actually explain some things before Arena of the Contest, so that way you guys are like ready to go. But anyway, so there'll be Arena of the Contest, and then right after Arena of the Contest, basically by like I think maybe even like a couple days or a week or something, is like the RPG story begins. And then from like a couple weeks after that is, so if this one here is Tanares RPG, then this right here is Tanares Adventures, and they start overlapping each other as the stories kind of like go along. Then eventually Tanares RPG continues past the end of Tanares Adventures. And by the way, this is like from my memory of when I had like some deep discussions with Michael and Cristiano. And so I'll go a little bit beyond the end of Tanares Adventures and kind of the repercussions of what happens in that. Then after those events will be the Madness Box scenario, which I think is just, what did we settle on the name for? I think it was like just the Realms of Madness. It's frustrating because I feel like we keep using the same names for similar products, and then it's confusing as to which thing is which. But the Madness box comes with its own like small, I think it's like 6 or 8 quests or something like that, and a lot of them are more like box focused. But anyway, then there's certain things that happen in that story, and then right after that is the Time Twist campaign. And the Time Twist one is kind of confusing because it's at the end of after the Madness box, but then it also has things that go earlier in, right? So for example, it includes like Cordal, right? Cordal is dead in Tanares Adventures because, kind of spoiler alert, guys, he's, the bad guy in Arena the Contest in the first, mission, Lava Citadel. And so he's, alive. Basically, it's like an alternate sort of reality is somewhat the flow, and you're kind of going through time to try to prevent certain things from happening. Don't want to give away too much, but basically that's the idea. And I think you'll even cross back to even points in time, even before Arena the Contest, that will happen. So that is the Time Twist campaign. So I think that was at 5. Yeah, you're right. I know. Timeline. Well, it's tough. Like, maybe if like once we get past like receiving the content, maybe we can do like a timeline or something. I just don't want to like give away too much by telling you guys exactly, how each story fits within each other. Because of course, Dragori has even other ideas where, these stories are going, and yeah. Anyway, try not to ruin it for you. Okay. Last thing. Yeah. So back to way back here to the confirmation screen. So then external purchases. Yep. We talked a little bit about that. Cosmetic items. Yep. Manually added. Extras. And that was it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So the Time Twist campaign is the one that comes with the miniatures and cards pledge, or any pledge that includes the items of the miniatures and cards pledge. Like past that, those ones have the Time Twist campaign. So if you don't like, and I was actually a little surprised when I had first heard this. So like if you just individually ordered like the Penumbral box, that won't actually get you that campaign. You have to get a pledge that includes the miniatures and cards pledge. Let's see. So start with the Arena, the campaign. And by the way, if you guys didn't know, on my channel, I did an Arena the Contest canon storyline. So if you're kind of curious about what happens in the story and you don't really want to go back and play Arena the Contest because the rules do actually change between Arena the Contest and Tanares Adventures, and Dragori is actually recommending people play Tanares Adventures first. It's a good way to kind of get caught up on the story, and maybe I might be able to do like a condensed version of that too, to help bridge that gap, so that way you don't have to, each video basically includes my gameplay too. So it does take, a couple hours to watch. If you don't want to do that, it might take a while. I'd like to hear your first impression of the boss battle in Tanares Adventures. You only showed us playthrough. So it's interesting. It's I feel like it's much more dynamic than Arena the Contest is. So if you go back, and this is probably like a couple years back in my YouTube videos of when I did actually some of the boss battle fights for Arena the Contest, you'll notice that a lot of them kind of just turn into like turning the boss into like your personal pin cushion, where you're like punching bag or something, because we're just going like all out on the boss, and he gets off a couple hits here and there, and but basically it wasn't ever I mean, sometimes they were challenging, but not always that much. And oftentimes the strategy was just go all out as hard as you could. This new one is much more challenging because the positioning is so important versus the original. You just literally have people stand around and then they just blast, and then that was about it. Now the boss has a face, right? If you've seen the video, I have the boss battle video. You have to attack a certain face depending on like a certain item or something that your character has, and you want to be attacked. You want to receive the attack from that because you will take reduced damage. Basically, that boss battle was extremely difficult. I will say that way harder than it was in Arena the Contest. So I'm kind of curious to see how people will do. I guess one good, maybe bad thing about it is that because the bosses have like 4 parts for the 4 different sides, it's kind of like, it's almost like you're fighting 4 different villains that are just like really strong. So maybe that's like not a super bad or good. I don't know. I guess it kind of depends on how much you like the gameplay. But it does kind of follow the same rules that are in Tanares Adventures, but different, movement. There's like orbs and things in there that you can damage the boss by. Anyway, it's pretty cool experience. It's just really hard. In fact, I think we did pretty much play like maybe only a little bit past what you guys saw in the video. Unfortunately, I had to do a bunch of other work items while I was there, and I didn't I didn't get to finish the entire boss battle. We just did probably about like a half of it. I will say that expect longer games, I'd say, for this game. It does take some more time, I think, to play Tanares Adventures than it did Arena the Contest. Probably because your moves have to be more strategic than they were in Arena the Contest, where you could kind of just run and gun, sort of. I mean, not completely, but like it was a lot easier where everyone could just run and then just all attack, and then run and everyone all attack. So anyway, I don't know. It'd be up to you guys to decide if that's going to end up being something that you really enjoy or not. I think it is fun. I think it makes the fights more more deep. It makes you think about each of the enemies that you're fighting more, rather than just trying to like move on to the next thing. So good things there, good possible things. Anyway, I think that's it. So any other questions you guys have? That's the last thing I had today. This video actually went a lot longer than I expected, but that's okay. And of course, if you have other questions too, you can drop them in the comments here. You can send them in Discord, or of course you can email me at james@dragorygames.com, and I'll do my best to respond to those. Preferably, if you have, preferably try to go through customer service first, because they can do a lot more to help you, and I can only really help you in terms of guiding you on, maybe certain add-ons, or explain some things to you. But if it's like changing your specific order, customer service definitely can help you, as which I cannot. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I really appreciate you guys all watching, staying here for about the hour here that we've been going. And if you have other things, we'll see you at the next one.